Welcome to EF Pod English. Brought to you by EF Education First and English Town. Learn anytime, anywhere. Pod English, Upper Intermediate 78. Sales figures.
I got fired yesterday for being incompetent. It was my own fault, but what can you do? I guess just sit at home and watch TV.
Are you ready for our lesson today? Today we're going to focus on some useful modal verbs. We're going to look at some ways of using should, might and would. We're also going to learn some new words about market reports and sales figures. Before we watch a short movie, I'll teach you some vocabulary which may be new to you. Revenue. This is the money coming into a company or organization. Revenue. Quarter. The year is divided into 4 parts. 3 months make up 1 quarter. Quarter. Are you ready to watch the movie? We are going to watch Peter and Jane discussing sales figures and what needs to be done.
Okay, as you can see from my report, we're doing well in most sectors. However, sales in Western Europe are down by 5% since July, so we need to focus on that today.
Almost 30% of our revenue was coming from Western Europe at the start of this year. Now it's closer to 25%. What's the reason?
Well, we decreased our advertising budget by almost half this year. I think that might be reflected in our sales.
I'm not sure about that. Sales figures are up 20% in Spain this quarter, and we have almost no advertising coverage there. How do you explain that?
Simple. The sales team in Barcelona is excellent. I think once we establish a stronger training program, sales should pick up in Europe. What other factors do we need to consider?
Well, we can't leave out market forces. What effect has the introduction of the euro had on sales?
Well, it's hard to say for sure at this early stage, but software sales in the region are down 3% this quarter, and they're predicted to fall by another 0.5% before the end of the year.
How about Latin America?
Let's see. In Mexico, there's been a 15% increase this quarter.
So, would you say Europe was our main area of concern right now?
Yes, definitely.
So why did I get fired? Quite straightforward, really. Not enough sales. Sales this year were meant to be this big, and they turned out to be about this big. Well, actually, I lied, more like this.
Oh dear,
And I thought I
it
had
doesn't
to say
sound
it
like
that long.
things are going very well in Western Europe. Why? Let's listen to Jane again.
Well, we decreased our advertising budget by almost half this year. I think that might be reflected in our sales.
She says, I think that might be reflected in our sales. By using might, she talks about possibility. Look at these sentences. I might go to visit my parents tomorrow. They might not arrive in time. Both sentences use might to talk about possibility.
I think once we establish a stronger training program, sales should pick up in Europe.
But no one wanted to do what I wanted to do, and my boss overruled me, and so sales didn't come in, and now I'm the one that gets fired. Just a scapegoat.
Jane says that sales should pick up in Europe. This means that sales in Europe are expected to get better once they do certain actions. We use should when we expect something to happen. Let's look at another example of a modal from the movie. Notice how Peter asks Jane if he understood things correctly.
So, would you say Europe was our main area of concern right now?
Peter says, so would you say Europe was our main area of concern right now? He uses would to ask for Jane's opinion or advice on what to do.
product was meant to taste as good as the cream in these cookies. But instead, tasted like the onions and these crisps. Terrible.
Good work. Well, now it's your turn to practice using some of those modal verbs. See if you can fill in the blanks with a modal. That's right, we use might here because we are talking of possibility. Wow, look at those dark clouds. It might rain. Well done. Let's try one more. Fill in the blank with a modal. Exactly. The modal we need here is should. If they don't spend all their money tonight, they should have enough for the train home tomorrow. What about this gap? Can you remember what goes in here? So, would you say Europe was our main area of concern right now? Well done. Today we've looked at words that relate to sales figures and market reports. We worked on modals, specifically should, might and would.
Better go and look for another job. Not going to find a job sat on my couch, am I? See you guys later.
Join us again soon for another lesson.